Morning, everybody. It's 8:33, and this is your pre-opening comment video number 1764 for this Friday morning, the 21st, which is an expiration day. Um, and so we should have a little bit of action. Last night we had the earnings from CSX that were a beat and sent the stock slightly higher. This morning we have Procter and Gamble, FCX, Freeport, and SLB, which used to be called Schlumberger, and all three beat. And because of that, the Dow is showing a gain of $18. Um, Earlier, it was down 30, but what you have to realize is that P&G is a higher priced Dow stock, and probably about um, $20 of that up 18, so more than it's up, is solely based on Procter and Gamble, something that happens on a fairly regular basis with the big name Dow stocks. FCX is pretty much unchanged. It closed yesterday at 41.36. Was as high this morning as 42.65, but now is 41.50, up only 14 cents. Schlumberger, as I said, beat top and bottom, but cash flow was a little bit disappointing, and that one is 51.70. That's down 27 cents. Excuse me. A couple of kind of head scratchers. WIS, Context Logic. They just resplit this, reverse split this, 1 for 30, which gives it an adjusted high of 985. In the real world, that high was 33, and the stock is trading around 8. And the company came out this morning and authorized a $50 million buyback. You know, they just reversed the stock, so the buyback will, because of the diminished number of shares, um, kind of move the stock substantially more than it did. And that one is $8.56, up $1.38, or 19%. I can't believe that this company can't find something better to do than manipulate their stock higher. Albemarle, ALB. This was a great pick by Josh Brown about 2 years ago, well under 100. The stock has been 330, but it's trading around 184 right now. On the week, it's pretty substantially lower. And when I say that, I'll just give you an idea. On the week, the stock is down about $17, or 8.4%. Half of that is today's action. And the reason for that action is because Albemarle is a lithium producer, has major operations in Chile, and Chile is going to nationalize the lithium business because they consider it to be able to help shore up their economy. And, that's one of the risks. I want to mention something also. Tesla is bouncing just a little. It's up about $1.50 after yesterday's horrendous showing on the earnings. Musk came out this morning and actually raised prices on the two upper end models, the X and the S. I look at that and I look at where they are versus the others, and I see things like Neo with a high of 67 and a last of $8.28. Lucid, which is without any question the biggest joke, 65 high, $7 recently. The legacy car makers like Ford 26 to 12, and GM 67 cut in half to 33. Fisker, a company that's been bankrupt 3 times and just did a 1-for-4 reverse, 43 to currently 18. Rivian, 180 to 12, and of course the laugher of all laughers, Nikola, with a high of 94 and a last of 90 cents. So, what I think is I'd really like to see the Tesla come down a little further. As I mentioned yesterday, I'd like to see it close the gap in its chart, which is down there about 144, I think. Ideally, I'd like to buy it at 132. I'd be happy to buy it at 144. But in comparison to the rest of these companies, it's been a home run. And they are all having all of the same problems that Musk had 2 and 3 years ago, and they're having a problem surmounting them. In any event, Dow currently up 18, NASDAQ currently down 35, and the S&P is down 3. So, just pretty basically unchanged on this day. This is the chart on the screen is the gold. And I guess we're going to get a test of this 1980 from Wednesday before they turned around and closed at 2007. Same situation with the rest of the metals. This line is the downtrend line that we put in. Let's go back a little and see so that you can give an idea of what I'm talking about. This is the high at 2089 or 2078. Let me see. This is the high at 2089. This is the one at 2078. And this one only got to 2063. If we hold this area, especially this area around 1960, and consolidate between, let's say, 1970 and 2010, I think we could possibly be headed higher. The MACD has rolled over. It has been a pretty exceptional move from a low of 1618 to a high of 2063. I mean, that's a very substantial move. And it came back down here and tested this running correction. I would not be surprised to see the same thing happening here. The negative in general is the dollar gaining a little bit of strength up on the week. The silver is down 9 cents, but solidly above that $25 area. The copper, which also has that same MACD rollover look to it, but is in this flag that I've been pointing out for quite a while. On the daily, excuse me, on the daily, as I said, we have that looks like it might be rolling over. More specifically, looking at the recent past, you can see it. I pointed this out in last night's. This has done this a bunch of times. Broke to the downside and 4 days later turned back to the upside. Same situation here. Broke to the downside. 4 days later, turned back up. Looks like we're going to cross today. My ideal buy point in this would be around 396 or so. It puts into play this long-term trend line. Let's just see how far back we have to go to see that. Yep. This long-term trend line, if we redraw it, and I'm not redrawing it using a different place, I'm just redrawing it, extending it a little further out so that you can see what it looks like. There we go. As you can see, we made this bottom at the end, at the lower end of the channel, moved up, higher low, higher high, so far higher low. So anywhere in this area, 395 or so, I think we'll find some good support. All right, everyone, have a good day, and we'll look for another one of those Costco type trades.